2017, the highlights. First on my table is fuel scarcity during the festive season.
There are two things we fail to realize. We need to truly deregulate the market. Let importers import, sell at whatever price. Let NMPC pay the moderating role. You can even have a buffer stock to moderate prices. But we were, because of the populism and all the rest, political, we didn't want to do it. And I still believe that there is no basis for us. Even when we start producing, Dangote comes on stream in 2019, we still need to deregulate the market. And I believe it will happen between now and then. Somebody will take the political decision. And it will be good for our economy. The danger of piling off, subsidy and then you now change price suddenly is one of the things that spikes our inflation.
Having said that, the notion is that these filling stations across the country actually they have fuel, but they just refuse to sell.
They know what they need to get. It's a flow. Fuel is like water. If it's not flowing in, they have an economic incentive to hold the little they have, so that since they are going to have reduced volume to sell, they can hike the price. I see people say ransacking stations, ceilings. That's not the solution. No, supply the materials, then the prices they will sell at normal price. I saw that beautiful post on Facebook when they show people celebrating Christmas in London and Nigerians celebrating petrol stations. So fortunately, I don't think I've ever seen that from any country in the world, and I believe we are getting to the end of it. I wish we can get some people punished for these lapse as a first step. I mean, in a normal climb, this situation we find ourselves, somebody should lose his job.
Heads have
Heads have to roll.
The Obi is a boy. Obi is a boy. When will Obi be a man? Shortly after the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges cleared him in the certificate scandal in April, Dino Melaye uploaded a video of himself singing. I don't know. Do you know
I remember that.
Do you remember? Do you remember that? So, this senator representing Kogi West, believe it or not, is now an artist. I think it was last quarter of the year, in 2017, he emerged an artist, hobnobbing with Senator Bruce, who's also into entertainment one way or the other. What is your take?
I think it's height of irresponsibility. I believe the problem of Nigeria is more serious. We have 193 million Nigerians. The statistics of Nigeria in terms of income distribution is disgusting.
True.
With all these limited oil resources we had, for a population of 193 million, with the infrastructure we need to put across the country, power installations and all the rest, generation distribution, and somebody displaying opulence and making a mockery of the people. Well, let's leave it to Kogi people. If they will still bring him again in 2019, that is their own luck. That is their contribution to the national growth.
More Nigerians became jobless as unemployment rate increases in the third quarter. Wow.
Well, those are part of the byproducts. It's an expected result of an economy slipping into recession. Once an economy slips into recession, unemployment goes up, consumption drops. Even basic consumer products, you find that people don't have the purchasing power to buy them. Unemployment is about 30-something%, which is very, very huge. And the statistics is right. A lot of people are losing their job. And that's why a lot of things have to be done in easing ways of doing businesses, in creating loan facilities so that people can start to work, create new businesses, and then jumpstart industries. Like the governor of Central Bank said recently that they're going to give special fund to manufacturers to lower their cost of funds, and that will actually enable them to lower their cost of production. A lot has to be done to restream the economy. We lost track by going to recession, and there has to be cost. And one of the greatest costs is inflation, and of course unemployment.
Let us run away from that and run into another a story or incident that transpired in 2017, and it has to do with the extended absence of our president in 2017.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, Nigeria's most asked question on Google was, is Buhari dead?
President Buhari is a human being, and he can fall sick. And he fell sick, and now I think he also did the right thing. When he took ill, he handed over to the vice president, which is a lot of progress. Now he's back, he's ill and hearty, and if you have relations who have gone through that process before, I don't think there's anything unusual. The only problem I also believe is the structure of the presidency, and which is what people were criticizing him when he constituted the inner caucus of his administration. I think he would have made it more plural, and he would have had a structure so that even when he's going, everybody will respect the structure. But be that as it may, his health is restored, I think, from the activities, from his look, and then of course it is all decision making and timeliness of decision making. The presidency, the Buhari presidency, if there's anything, when it is over in 2019 for re-election, the question we ask ourselves is that what is the promptness in taking decision? Nations of states, I agree, when it was military head of state, overnight they take a decision, but today it seems the process has been too slow. For any nation to make progress, kleptocracy must not be part of it.
Yes.
Kleptocracy is when stealing people in government who are so well paid are still helping themselves. The houses they are attributing to people, former accountant general of Nigeria, 30-something houses, 3 billion shares in the company. When you put those statistics down, there's no way. You just need about 500 people to appropriate the whole nation to themselves, and everybody goes into poverty, and that has to stop.
I'd rather run into the billionaire kidnapper. That's another thing that happened.
Yeah, Evans, major highlights. Major.
For me, I wonder why the police celebrated his capture. I mean, they celebrated his capture and they tagged him billionaire kidnapper. Is that encouraging people that are in this lucrative business? Well, I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yes,
in this regard.
You see, when you create a country that is infused with corruption, crime also festers. You know, nations where there are so much inequalities.
Yes.
You create opportunities for your cost of policing the country becomes so much. I can tell you we are one of the worst inequalities in the world, and we are resource rich. We are not a rich nation. We see the wealth of our leaders. Everybody wants to be like them. Their lavish marriages and all the rest. The middle class, we are also guilty about it. So it creates incentive for people to be creative negatively. By what Evans did shocked every human being, that it was also possible. And he has this, and it makes it to the fact that everybody is vulnerable. Most of our children, they don't want to stay in Nigeria.
That's
middle
true.
class.
It's actually
imagine the
right
embarrassing number of Nigerians going by all means to Libya to go and just Italy to go and do prostitution. It is a show, because once you lose hope, it's either you take to crime, you exit the country, or you just become so.
A nuisance.
And you see all this display of wealth in the. In those, I mean, imagine somebody making a mockery of the society, selling granite with G-Wagon, with vehicles. If you look at the vehicles around him, they are over 100 million naira in value, and he's selling 50. Is it not a mockery? I see those people selling granite on the street in Lagos. I pity them. At times I buy it out of pity.
Mr. Bolade, do you know what I do? When I go out and I buy the roasted plantain, I don't price it.
Yes.
If you tell me this roasted plantain is 200 naira, I will just stomach it and give you the money. You know the reason why? Because the heat from the charcoal, the heat. I mean,
from the sun.
The woman is trying to eke out a living. So I don't really prize it.
And someone, a responsible senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with cameras, stage managing that, making a mockery of people sweating.
The hashtag EndSARS came up.
We need a lot of reform in the police. You see, a large chunk of our police are attached to the so-called big people, and that also lead a lot of porosity in our security system. In fact, when you look at Nigeria, we are under-policed compared to South Africa, compared to UK. You see police everywhere. If you know the number of statistics of policemen that have been dismissed or they are in prison or whatever, they are quite large. And I think when some of these things happen, the police also have a responsibility to inform the public that they will not spare their own. And this is what we have done in the past. I'm not trying to be their spokesman. So
okay, I didn't see a statue in Imo State. I mean, Rochas, the Rocket Man. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
You're going to erect a statue of me very soon.
Rochas, the statue, I don't know what he's trying to achieve. And it's a very cruel joke on his people, because most of the people that were victim of attacks in South Africa, that ethnic xenophobia in Accra, they are, I mean, people speak Igbo language, they are Nigerians, and unfortunately, I thought it was for peace, maybe to have opportunity to talk to Zuma, please don't do it. But extending it to past head of state, putting it there and there, maybe he's trying to create a national museum as part of tourism for people to come to. If you want to see Zuma, you go to.
You know, Rochas has a foundation.
Yes.
And Rochas Foundation and Zuma's foundation, I think they do some form of business together.
Yes.
I think to cement that business, that was why she had to erect that statue.
I now develop brainwave to extend it to other.
He also says that he wants to run for a presidency.
Really?
And remember when we treated this on Morning Talks, that's issues in the news, and when they asked him, oh, what are your presidential aspirations? I'm just paraphrasing now, okay, people. And all he said was, I have something in my head. People have been laughing to that, but I personally don't think it's a funny thing. What do you think about mental health playing a role in political elections?
Yes, I agree with you. You see, the problem of Nigeria and why corruption is so high in Nigeria, everybody who becomes a governor wants to be president. And they still take care of that. They want to be party chairman. Forgetting that great nations like America have only had 45 presidents. Trump is the 45th president. If not military regime that gave us harvest of heads of states. If you look at it in Nigeria, how many would we have had? I think people should just stop joking about being president of the country. The presidency of the country is a serious business. You need somebody who is capable mentally, emotionally, and who can lead. The presidency of Nigeria cannot be 193 million people. Must be an extraordinary. We should stop putting mediocres because mediocres think they can become president. It's not possible. You must have the exposure. You must have the wherewithal to lead. And I think it's a joke with all the childish, populism and all the rest. I mean, somebody wants to be president who is sewing Christmas dress for neighbor and say he wants to be president. How many people for his citizen say he wants to be president of Nigeria? I think we should. I'm happy that a positive development last year that nobody's noting is resort to electronic voting. And I'm happy about that. Let us do electronic voting with WhatsApp, with images and all the rest, applying the best technology. Once we free our election from manipulation, all these jokers who think they can be president, all they need is just pocket some people, give them money here and there, bags of rice and all the rest. The figures of Nigeria, those who are going to elect the next president, they are going to be people in their 30s and 50s.